And welcome back, adventurers, to Let's Play Steins. In the last episode, Okabe Rintaro, alias Hoenn Kiyoma, and his trusty sidekick Shiina Mayuri were both attending Doctor Nakabashi's press conference on his supposedly created time machine when the unthinkable happened. A strange, mysterious, satellite-shaped object appeared on the roof of the building of the conference. And now, ominous things are afoot. I put away my phone and looked back at Mayuri. She's still staring at those capsule toys, so apparently she doesn't seem to be worried about the explosion whatsoever. I can't decide if she's level-headed or just airheaded.
Mayuri, 何をしている?
And the dramatic music suddenly gives way to calming music. So apparently she wants one of the toys in the capsule machines. Apparently it's called an Oopa for some reason, just as I thought. Mayuri points to a capsule machine. The sign on the front says Rainet Kakeru 3D character doll series. So these are apparently what she calls Oopas. Rainet Karaku is a popular anime series with its own card game spin-off, Rainet Access Battlers. They even hold international tournaments. Oopa is the series' mascot character. It resembles an elliptical egg with limbs sticking out, like some kind of deformed dog. It's what they call an ugly cute character. I believe that is the Japanese anime term. High school girls find these creatures adorable for some reason. Last year an ugly frog character was the rage. Its name escapes me though.
やればいい。ウーパが当たるかどうかは保証できないがな。
Mayuri gives me a troubled smile.
でもね、マユシーは今100円玉を切らしちゃっているのです。
So apparently Mayushi, which appears to be her nickname for herself, which is Shiina Mayuri, hence Mayushi, is apparently out of coins. And Rintaro is just saying what I just explained, which is that's what she calls herself. Apparently it's supposed to have a star at the end, Mayushi star, even though you don't pronounce the star. But apparently Rintaro doesn't care one bit.
だから、おかりんおかりん、100円貸して。
So apparently she wants us to let her use her 100 yen coin in order to get an Oopa from the capsule machine. Part of me thinks that Rintaro's obvious answer is going to be somewhat along the lines of no. She holds out her hands out with a look like a begging puppy. Looks like she was planning this from the very beginning. But at least she didn't say gimme.
黙ったれるな、マユリ。金若さん、俺がお前に人生の厳しさを教えてやる。
Yep, it's just as Rintaro says. Money doesn't grow on trees, much less Rintaro's, so apparently he's going to pay for it himself, for some reason. Definitely not out of the goodness of his heart. I open the capsule and take out the contents. Mayuri leans forward eagerly to see what I got.
あ、ウーパだよ。しかもメタルウーパ。
And apparently, we scored ourselves a metal Oopa.
それはレアなのか?
すごく。
So Mayuri seems to be extremely pleased that we got a super rare metal Oopa. Apparently they're hard to get. While I was examining the metal Oopa, a boy who was watching us tries his luck on the same machine.
あ、普通のウーパだ。
Nope, just a regular Oopa. He looks at my metal Upa in resentment. Well, Rintaro wasn't entirely wrong about the harshness of life. I turned to see Mayuri's eyes, sparkling eyes also fixed on the Upa. You're acting like a little kid. And there's the metal Upa.
ではマユリにくれてやろう。
I give this creature of metal to you. And I believe if I press the shift key, it can actually show you the image in full, and Mayuri's happy smiling face. Honestly, I don't want it. I have no need for this trinket.
いいの？オカリン。
おーい、今日まだ。
Apparently, he's just giving it away.
ありがとう、オカリン。
And Mayuri does not ever call him Hoen Kiyoma once. Much to Rintaro's chagrin. Is she doing it on purpose? Also, I know the fact that in Japanese culture they mostly call people by their surnames unless they know them pretty well. I'm somewhat familiar with Japanese etiquette. But it's rather vague in the terms of Steins Gate. Is Okabe his first name? Is Rintaro his first name? Because I know he's called Okabe Rintaro, but he's also called Rintaro Okabe. And I've never really figured out which is actually his first name. It's probably Rintaro. But I may be wrong on that.
本日はドクター中鉢によるタイムマシン発明成功記念会見にお集まりいただき誠にありがとうございます。
There, I'll just let the announcement finish there. Apparently the press conference is about to begin.
どうやら始まるようだな。
So we'd best be on our way. Don't want to miss this. Especially since we went out of our way to get here in the first place. Head to the stairs. But Mayuri doesn't follow.
行くぞ、マユリ。
待って待って。名前書かなくちゃ。
And apparently she wants to engrave her name on the Upa. As commemoration. She's preoccupied with the metal Upa. I go on ahead. And there apparently appears to be some people.
早速登場していただきましょう。発明家ドクター中鉢さんです。皆さん盛大な拍手でお迎えください。
Count 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, about 12 people, including Rintaro. And that has to be the most paltry applause, the weakest paltry applause I've ever heard in a conference, ever. Sparse doesn't even begin to describe how weak that applause was. Apparently not many people are interested in what Doctor Nakabachi has to say. He's already wearing a frown for some reason. I can feel his irritation from here.
Doctor Nakabachi だ。どうぞ。
There is the man himself. Rather grim-looking. Nakabachi takes the microphone and begins to speak, his voice brimming with confidence.
それではここに集まってもらった諸君だけに人類史に残る世紀の大発明タイムマシンについての理論をお教えしよう。
Apparently he is beginning his lecture with his own personal thoughts on the long mystery of time travel, or the possibility of such.
タイムマシン？あの人が作ったの？
Mayuri appears after writing her name on the metal Upa. She's a bit late in more ways than one. What did she think a time machine presentation would be about? Can't entirely fault you there, Rintaro. I take another look around the room. There are about 20 people now, including us, but still no media presence to speak of. They're probably in the wings, because we can't really see. I don't think this counts as 20 people. So there must be some people behind us. So this is the extent of Dr. Nakabachi's fame. Nobody believes that he invented a time machine. I was interested in what he had to say, true, but my expectations were no higher than the rest of the onlookers, which is fair enough, I suppose. And a good thing they weren't. As he proceeds to explain his time machine design, my curiosity turns to disappointment, then anger. Apparently Rintaro is overly furious, it would seem. My roar silences Nakabachi and draws the eye of every person in the room. Apparently Rintaro is very upset, as is Nakabachi, for different reasons.
それより今あなたが語ったタイムマシンの理論は一体何だジョン・タイターのパクリではないかあなたはそれでも発明家か
So apparently Rintaro is accusing Nakabachi of stealing his theories from a man called John Titor. Now I said I wasn't going to bring up the tips list again, but for this instance I am going to, because this is actually rather important. I won't read this out in its entirety, so you can pause the video and see this, but this actually refers to a real-life thing that actually happened back in the real world of 2000 or 1999 or some such thing, about a somebody originally calling themselves John Titor. I won't explain it in great detail. In fact, I will actually post a link to the Wikipedia page regarding John Titor. Basically, actually, you know what? I'm not going to explain anything just yet, because I believe Rintaro will actually have his own thoughts on this. And Nakabachi is rather distraught at our outburst. Well, given the story behind John Titor, it's not really surprising. Just then, somebody grabs my arm from behind. Quite convinced that it's an official to throw me out, I turn around to glare him down. No, it's not a security guard at all. It's somebody else. A girl who's apparently the same age as Rintaro, which I believe is 18, 2 years older than Mayuri. Her intense stare seems to challenge me. I take a step back. Her face looks somehow familiar. Where have I seen her before?
Oh.
We haven't met, but I know her face. It's Makise Kurisu. Going back to the thing that I had about Rintaro's name, it's actually rather vague as to which is actually her first and last name, given Japanese etiquette. Is Kurisu her first name? Is Makise her first name? I know it's always delivered as Makise Kurisu even in the dub anime, but it's never really clear as to which is actually her proper first name. A few days ago, my friend Daru showed me a magazine titled Genius Girl Gives Lecture in Akihabara. The article was about a 17-year-old girl who just graduated from a major American university. Her thesis was even published in a major scientific journal, believe it or not. I recognized the stubborn-looking girl from her photograph. And apparently, you can see this. Apparently she has a bit of an interest in what appears to be neuroscience, as in the science of the brain, as you can see there. So apparently this is her field of scientific expertise. She's even wearing that exact same scowl. I would not call that a scowl per se. It's more of a neutral expression, to be honest. Having said that, that's a scowl. That is definitely a scowl. And for some reason she's wearing a red tie. Don't know what's that's about. What business could such a genius have with me? That is a very good question, Rintaro. She takes a quick look around the room, then turns back to me with a stern expression.
ちょっと来てくれませんか?
What's with the attitude? She's obviously not staff, and there's no way that the Makise Kurisu would be working with someone like Doctor Nakabachi. I don't know. She could very well be be working with him. Which means no. What does it mean?
機関の人間か?
Is she with the organization? That is a possibility, but then again...
まさかここまで手が回っているとは俺としたことか。
ふざけてないで、ちょっと来てください。
My outburst has already attracted too much attention. Nakabachi in particular looks like he wants to rip my head off. It must be mortifying to be exposed as a fraud by a bright young man like myself. Anyway, I mustn't draw any more attention to myself. If the organization gets wind of my presence here, it could endanger Mayuri, not to say nothing of these ignorant civilians. I let Makise Kurisu lead me out of the assembly hall. It's probably a good thing as well.
ここで俺に何かすれば人目につくぞ。そうなれば貴様もいろいろまずいだろう。
I don't know about you, Rintaro, but something about her demeanor says that she doesn't appear to know anything about the organization.
何かって何ですか? 人聞きの悪い。
And she seems to confirm this with her own behavior. She glares at me, quite fiercely at that. Attractive though she may be, there's no innocence in her eyes. A beautiful agent unmatched in cruelty. My heart beats in exhilaration from the danger. Looks like chaos really does get my blood boiling. For some reason.
私はあなたに聞きたいことがあるだけです。
Apparently she has something to talk about with Rintaro.
それに答える義理はない。機関のやり方は分かっている。
だから機関って?
Apparently Kurisu has no idea of what the organization is. But instead of answering, I take out my phone and put it to my ear.
俺だ。機関のエージェントに捕まった。ああ、マキセ・クリスだ。あの女には気をつけろ。いや、問題ない。ここはなんとか切り抜け。
Before he could finish, Kurisu suddenly snatches the phone from his hand. But still, he didn't have time to react.
何をする?
That was Jedi reflexes if ever I saw them.
電源切れてる。
And apparently, Kurisu notices that Rintaro's phone is in fact been turned off.
誰と話していたんですか?
Her eyes pierce deeply into my soul. I quickly look away. She's good. Is she trying to attack my sense of identity in order to cause a mental break? Recover. This isn't enough to sway me.
貴様に答える義理はないが一応教えてやろう。それは俺以外が触ると自動的に電源がオフになる特別性の携帯なのだ。うわっ
That would actually be a rather interesting security design, especially for a cell phone. Such measures are necessary to maintain secrecy. I know things that could get me killed. I quickly retrieved my phone and wiped the cold sweat off my forehead. That was close. It was close indeed.
独り言だったのね。
This is bad. Ordinary methods don't work on Makise Kurisu, the genius girl. So we have one of two things. Either Rintaro is speaking to a mysterious, enigmatic contact, or he's just talking to an empty phone, which could imply that he is in fact crazy, or at the very least he has delusions of his own. On the contrary, she is the one psyching me out. Looks like I have to make a tactical retreat. If I can just find an opening. Suddenly, Kurisu steps up to me with a serious expression. She stares right at me, her huge eyes blazing with strength of will. Such fire, I can't look away. Could someone with such pure eyes really be an organization agent? Perhaps not, I would imagine.
私に何を言おうとしたんですか?
Earlier.
さっきとはいつのことだ?
ほんの15分くらい前、会見が始まる前に。
Nonsense. This is the first time we've met. And yet, something strange is happening here. I was with Mayuri and that Upatori 15 minutes ago. Yet for some reason, Rintaro apparently tried to contact Kurisu, according to her.
私に何か言おうとしましたよね。すごく悲しそうな顔をして。
This is interesting. First the mysterious satellite, and now a mysterious rendezvous with Kurisu. Is this a trap? It does seem like one of the organization's dirty tricks. But would this girl do something that underhanded?
まるで今にも泣き出しそうで、それにすごく辛そうでした。
Apparently Rintaro ran into Kurisu 15 minutes before, yet that doesn't really jive, because as Rintaro said, he was with Mayuri with the metal Ufa.
私、前にあなたと会ったことありますか?
Appears to be a strange sense of disconnect between the two of them. But she seems sincere. That makes her even more suspicious. Don't let her beauty fool you. She's a cold, calculating secret agent. I think perhaps that Rintaro might have a tendency to over-exaggerate a bit. If I show the slightest vulnerability, I'm done for.
そういえば、なんで私の名前知ってるんです?
And how do we know her name? Well, as Rintaro said moments ago, he actually read an article from his friend Daru. It's a rather bold statement for you to say there, Rintaro. I am a mad scientist, after all.
天才少女。次会うときは敵同士だな。
And Rintaro makes another bold declaration of sorts.
さらばだ。
And with maniacal laughter, Rintaro spins around and takes off down the stairs, ignoring Kurisu's calls to stop. Like I'd listened to the enemy. We still know next to nothing about this organization, and I know that I just briefly interrupted Rintaro's speech there. I run all the way down to the 4th floor and check behind me. Once I'm convinced Kurisu's not tailing me, I sigh while rubbing my temples. Well then, what do I do now? My mission was to attend the conference and evaluate Doctor Nakabashi's research. Now that I know he's a fraud, there's no real point in going back. I guess I'll just go home. But wait, aren't I forgetting something important? Let's see now, what is it? Give 3 guesses as to what we've left behind. We left Mayuri behind. We'll have to go back for her. I knew she'd be a liability. I shouldn't have brought her along. I was trying to prioritize her safety, but got careless. I'll try calling her first. If she's alright, then I can have her meet me here. With that thought in mind, I take up my phone. I turn it on, and it rings just as I do.
メールか
An email. Dated July 28th. It's not a regular email. There's a video attached. And the sender's name appears to be rather cryptic. From an unknown address. I open the video file with some trepidation. It appears to be nothing but a static screen. There's nothing but noise. Is this a prank? Or some sort of Makise Kurisu style attack? Maybe this noise is some sort of make people go crazy frequency. No, wait. I don't remember giving her my mail address, so I'm probably thinking too hard. I curse myself for being gullible enough to play the video. Could just be spam. I have more pressing matters to deal with anyway, such as finding Mayuri. Stop the video and call Mayuri's phone from my address book.
Mayuri, なぜ出ない
Looks like I have to go back to the assembly hall. Things will get messy if I bump heads with Kurisu again.
まさかマキセクリスめマユリをさらったな
That's probably a bit dubious there, Rintaro.
それが機関のやり方か
Then again, we'll have to see if Mayuri is okay. Leaving without Mayuri isn't an option. Call me overprotective, but she's like a little sister to me, and there's a very real danger that she might wander off somewhere the moment I let her out of my sight. Mayuri has always been like that. I never know if she'll be there when I turn to look. In a sense, that's why I became Houin Kiyoma.
戻るしかないか
So calling Mayuri has failed, so the thought of climbing back up to the 8th floor is depressing, but I have no choice. Back to the 8th floor we go. When I get back to the assembly hall, Doctor Nakabachi's conference is just finished. Nobody is on stage and the phony inventor has already left. The 20 or so members of the audience are starting to pack up. I soon find Mayuri. She's in the corner looking lost, so she didn't leave the room whatsoever. Well, at least she wasn't kidnapped. Maybe she's upset because Rintaro left. Even better, I don't see Kurisu anywhere.
あの女俺におじけづいたか
Hate to break it to you, Rintaro, but I don't think she was afraid of you in any way, shape or form whatsoever.
よかろう今日のところは見逃してやるとしよ
Still, I keep my eyes peeled as I run up to Mayuri.
うマユリなぜ電話に出ないそろそろ帰るぞ
She's looking rather unhappy there. Wonder why.
メタルウーパがいなくなっちゃった
She appears to have misplaced the metal Ooper. She turns to me with a forlorn
い
expression.
なくなった勝手に動き出したのかそれは実にファンタジーだな
落としたみたい
That's rather unfortunate. So she was looking for the metal Ooper. Not like it really matters.
見つから
Not
な
to
いなら
Rintaro
諦めろ
anyway.
また当てればいい
当たりっこないよだってねメタルウーパはネットオークションで1万円近いプレミアがついてるんだよ
That's pretty rare indeed, not to mention... Yeah, that is quite a lot of money, especially for yen.
な
That toy was worth that much?
マユリを一体どこで落としたのだ
わかんないから探してるんだよあと見つけても売らないからね
We already know where Rintaro is going with this, but Mayuri is adamant.
その1万円、この俺の研究資金にしてやる。
I think Mayuri would be rather upset if Rintaro sold her Upa. That is if we find
いら
it.
ないってば。マユシーの名前書いちゃったし。
Indeed it does, because you were writing your name on it before the conference started. Thus begins our search for the metal Upa.
トゥットゥルー。ウーパさん、ウーパさん、出ておいで。
It has to be somewhere, unless somebody has inadvertently found it. Mayuri tries calling its name. I don't know if she truly expects a response. By the way, doo-doo-doo is Mayuri's catchphrase, another character trait. It means... Actually, I'd never bother to ask what it means. Anyway, the metal Upa is nowhere to be found. Maybe she didn't drop it in the assembly hall, but on the 7th floor landing near the capsule toy machines. Another possibility is that someone with an eye for rare items pilfered it. Just imagining the smug grin on that person's face makes me writhe in envy.
おのれ、金にしか興味のない下劣なやつめ、恥を知れ。
Says the man who was planning to sell it for 10,000 yen. But I digress.
おかりんもね。
And apparently Mayuri agrees. Wasn't expecting that from Mayuri, were you, Rintaro? Indeed you weren't. Well, that is truly an ominous scream.
悲鳴かな。
Indeed it was, Mayuri. Only the presenter and a few other people were left in the assembly hall. Including Mayuri and me, less than half the audience remains. Everyone looks at each other anxiously, startled by the scream. Even I cannot suppress a shiver. First the explosion on the roof, now this. What's going on here? Strange events are indeed afoot, Rintaro. Mayuri squeezes my hand tight.
マユリ、ここにいろ。
It's probably the best advice you can give, Rintaro. I take a deep breath, prepare myself and head in the direction of the scream. The echoes lead me down a dark, empty hallway on the same floor. I'm pretty sure it came from around that corner. I crouch down and turn the corner slowly, keeping my eyes and ears peeled for any sign of danger. And there, at the end of the passage, I see it. There's something on the ground. No, someone. Motionless. Who is it? The clothes are familiar. It can't be. Ominous suspense. And red, which, oh dear. Well, Makise Kurisu. Her face is turned away, but I know it's her. The impertinent genius girl I've just fought with 10 minutes ago is now face down in a pool of bright red blood. Was she killed? By the organization? She is indeed dead.
なんで。
I suddenly realize that I'm shaking. I think anyone would be in this situation. So if someone has... Yes, indeed, this is wrong. Someone has, straight out of nowhere, murdered Makise Kurisu. There is no other explanation. Who would do such a thing? There's no one else here. And now, unfortunately, the other onlookers appear to have followed in our wake. I twist around in shock. Some other men have followed me, and every one of them is ghastly pale. They must have seen the body. It's probably the best thing at this point. At this, everyone else starts running and screaming in panic. I follow them, of course. There's absolutely no reason to stay here. Concern for Makise Kurisu is superseded by my instinctive urge to flee. When I get back to the assembly hall, Mayuri is waiting for me with tears in her eyes.
Okari, どうしたの?
I'm not sure if we should tell her or not. Damned if we do, damned if we don't. That's a good idea, Rintaro. I grab Mayuri's hand and run. I race down the stairs, trying to drive the image of Kurisu's dead body from my mind. But I can't. And again, that ominous wall of red. The redness of her blood is burned into my mind, more than the sight of the body itself. That was my first time seeing a dead body. Is this what it's like? When I realized that she was dead, I felt chilling terror and a surge of nausea. But was that all I felt? That was all I felt. Fear and disgust. Shouldn't there be something more? I guess I just didn't know her that well. Well, to be fair, they were strangers. But now that I think about it, moments before Rintaro ran down the stairs laughing maniacally, Kurisu did mention something about the fact that apparently, according to her, Rintaro tried to call her about something, and that apparently he was upset. Could her death have something to do with it? But that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, Rintaro is now back outside. I finally stop once we get to the main street, Chuodori. Back outside in fresh air again, away from the cramped rooms of Radaikan. And with that, adventurers, I shall leave the episode here, and in the next episode we shall try to collect our thoughts and try and make sense of what has just transpired. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.